Good afternoon. This is the veteran from Trinity, Prince. The question I have to ask is the President of the United States a pedophile? I know I'm going to get some slack for this, but I'm going to do it anyway. I believe he is. And one of the reasons I believe he is because of his connection to Epstein. Now, Epstein was more or less never convicted of, was once convicted of you know, hiring and taking young ladies. Now, Donald, to me, is guilty, if not actually doing anything, guilty by association. Now, all this association started with Barr, Williams Barr father. As most people don't know, that Barr was the first individual to give, Barr's father was the first individual to give Epstein a job at a private school in Manhattan, where he was in contact with a lot of rich young ladies. And after he was there for a short period of time, then he started working as an investment, supposedly investment, and also, um, covering for other rich people in the New York area, with providing them young ladies and prostituting young ladies and blackmailing rich individuals to get money. That was this big scheme. So he got involved with Barr. He also used to run around with Donald Trump. And my mother always say, our grandmother, you're judged by the company you kept. Now, that was one of the reasons I think he's guilty. So yes, if he's not guilty, he should not be afraid to release the Epstein file. He campaigned and said he was going to release the Epstein file. He was going to release the Kennedy file, and he was going to release the Martin Luther King file. There's an old saying: if you're the most powerful person in the country or in the state, may even be in the world, based on who you ask, you would release that if you're innocent. It's right there. First of all, everybody said we're going to release the Epstein file. Bondi, Cash Patel. Everybody said we're going to release the file. And to date, nobody has done so. If you're innocent, releasing the file will prove your innocence. There's no question about that. Pussy, I never liked the man. I think he's the biggest schemer. America is being schemed by Trump. But no, people don't really like that. My thing about it, Alligator Alcatraz, to me, is a concentration camp. The conditions there are horrible. We don't treat nobody like that. That's horrible. Send people to places that get bit with big mosquitoes, alligators, because it's human nature. Wherever you are, you always try to escape. If I was there, I would try my best to escape. I might not make it because the alligators, snakes, everything inhumane treatment, you know. Plus, he's picking up American citizens, naturalized citizens, people with green card holders. Some people have, example, he picked up one young man that went to visit his family in Canada. He's been doing that for years. Now he cannot get back in the United States, and his family is in the United States. We are increasing our welfare roll. A lot of people are going to seek assistance. That's not helping the economy. Asians, you're next. You already started with the Asians. One of the biggest problems we have is white people are slowly becoming a minority. That is why they're pushing to stop all this abortion and stuff like that, so the white people can maintain the majority. The times are changing. The browns and the blacks are taking over. That's all people of color. So, basically, we see what happens. But I do believe that the American president is a pedophile. He has been accused of rape. He has 34 convictions. He should not have been allowed to run for president, period. Now he's putting people out of the country that got picked up for marijuana and other light crimes compared to the crimes that he has done. If a person commits a serious crime, I'm all for deporting that person because you're in a guest country and you have to follow the rules. But I'm just the tactics they're using, Gestapo tactics, makes no sense. We are supposed to be a humane country. America is supposed to be the great democratic society, and we act like a bunch of thugs. We have people running around with masks and just harassing people. That's not how a government runs. So think about it. Is this man who you want to be and maintain as president? We need to get rid of him as soon as we can. He treats people, insults people. He's called people like Rosie O'Donnell a pig. He's called people not a smart. He called former Texas Governor Rick. What's his name? He called him Secretary of Interior. He called him an idiot, a block. I remember when in the universe administration, Rex Tillerson called him a fucking moron. I thought that was funny, but that's just me. But we gotta be good to everybody, so